And welcome back to Charlottesville Insights. This is Jeff Gaffney, your host. We have Pat Jensen, who's the managing broker of the Real Estate 329 North office and a mega producer in this real estate market. We're asking her all kinds of questions about the real estate market. I want to get back to new construction because your office does a lot of new construction.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing in terms of sales for new homes today? Are you seeing that there's an increase? Is it about the same? What's your vantage point on that?
It's interesting because you hear nationally that new home starts are down, and that is the case in many, many parts of the country. And compared to what we faced a number of years ago, we are also down. We had a number of wonderful building contractors that are out of business or doing remodeling right now and hoping that the market will pick back up. But at our office, and I know also at our downtown office with Piedmont Housing, we have Craig Builders and several other builders. We are seeing an amazing number of contracts come through that people are wanting to buy new homes. Old Trails are popular. We also have the Stone House, the Hauser Homes out at Belvedere is very popular. We have new home communities that people just like the idea of getting into a new home. Even with the wide selection that we have of resale properties, we are seeing a good number of new construction houses. We're working on houses now with closings next summer.
I'm seeing some of the new home buyers today are leaning towards new construction for a number of reasons. One is that the pricing is still very favorable on new construction. You've seen a decrease in some material costs. You've seen a decrease in some of the home sites. And so the value for new construction is there. But I'm also seeing some buyers today who can't quite find what they're looking for. That's exactly what they want in the market, and so they end up saying, well, why don't we build so we can get exactly what we want? Does it make sense?
Yes, it does, and we're seeing a lot of that take place.
What are the most popular communities, in your opinion, today for new construction? Where would one find the most building if they wanted to go see some homes?
Well, we see a lot in Old Trail. Belvedere is just about finished building out its phase one. We still have attached housing being built over on Pantops, and Pavilions at Pantops has some. There's some new lots available at Glenmore, some wonderful lots there. If somebody wants a high-end property, they actually have lots there of acreage, not just the smaller ones. And I think we're still seeing north and south of town. So there are a lot of neighborhoods where we're seeing.
A couple of my favorites, if you were looking for kind of the pick of the litter right now in new construction, I really like what Piedmont Realty and Construction has done with their attached product in Belvedere.
Yes.
Wonderful two-story product with a basement on that big, I guess they call it like a village green there. It's just very nice. It seems very nice, very spacious, and a really good value.
Yes.
I'm bullish on Belvedere, so I think Belvedere at $300,000 is a great buy. I also love the Craig product in a couple of locations. I think Kendridge is amazing if you're in that price range. That's over there not far from Farmington.
That's right.
And then out at Old Trail, I love
golf.
Tell us about that.
They have the golf cottages. They have their attached. They're 3 to 4 units attached, and it's right within sight of the golf clubhouse. And these are beautiful models that go from the 350s on up to 700,000. I mean, they can have a basement and do lots of finishing on it. They have also have a good price point. The townhouses around the swimming pool area. Of course, we've got that wonderful large retirement community that's gone into the Lodge, I believe it's called, out at Old Trail. So, yes, there's a lot of activity in a range from $250,000 to $1 million.
We have another question. Steve in Charlottesville sent in on our Facebook fan page. Is anything happening in the condo market? What's your sense, Pat?
Well, since I own a few of those condos that I wouldn't mind selling, Not a whole lot. The money has not been released. We have a couple of condo communities that can qualify for some standard FHA. The villas at Southern Ridge is one that comes to mind. But generally, the money for condos is still tight, and you'd have to go to a special portfolio loan and put down 10 to 15% minimum to get them. Now, on the plus side, NAR is saying that the next 10 to 15 years is going to be very strong for the rental market. So if you have a condo and can use it as an investment property for rent, you should be okay until things loosen up. Eventually, there will be money for condos because it is such wonderful, affordable housing.
We're here with Pat Jensen, managing broker of Real Estate 329 North. Office and also a mega real estate producer in our town. We're talking about the condo market. One thing, Pat, that I've seen in the last month, this is just one data point, is that 1,800 JPA, we've seen 4 or 5 contracts come in the last month. Now, almost all of them have been cash deals, so it takes out that financing part that you were talking about. The prices have really been, really very favorable prices for the buyer.
Yes.
And almost all of them are investment purchases where the buyer wants to own some property close to the University of Virginia, buy it at a good price in a strong rental market, and that's where 1,800 JPA fits in.
That's
so
right.
I thought that was interesting. But the return of the cash buyer, we're starting to see this. Let me ask you a question before we get to some others. How long ago does the tax credit feel like? I mean, that was just last year, but does it seem like a decade ago? I mean, what a different market that was.
It is. There was a real upswing in the market during that period of time.
There was a huge upswing, and then literally when we got to the end of April, you saw really, it was like, the lights were on, the lights went off.
That's it.
Yes. Now, I think this year, although what's interesting is we're going to end up almost with the same number of sales, 2011 versus 2010. It's just 2011 has a little more normalized sales pace.
That's right. 2010 had the extra purchases because of that tax credit. So the good news is that 2011 has sustained that level without having that kind of incentive, and therefore that means that the market is, in fact, improving.
Here's an interesting question, one maybe for you to follow up with, Pat. Carol in Forest Lakes writes in, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. What should I look for in a firm?
As a brand new agent getting into the market, you would want to go with a company that offers a lot of training and hand-holding, that offers a lot of opportunities for you to get out front of buyers and sellers. A good example is a company that has a lot of listings that need people to help them hold open houses, to do floor time, and to just have the reputation of a large company behind you as you're growing. Once you're established, then different boutique type brokerages are great, but generally, just getting started, you want to get with somebody that can help you continue your education primarily.
Questions I always tell folks to ask, and I'm responding back to Carol's question. If she's thinking about getting into real estate, what should she look for in a firm? I would ask, first of all, as Pat alluded to, who's going to train me? Tell me about your training program. Secondly, I'd say, where's my business going to come from, and are you going to help me generate any business? And then the third question I would ask is literally, what happens if I have a difficult transaction? Who's going to be there for me to help kind of untangle the fishing lines? And you don't realize how important that is until you get into a complicated deal. Now, you've been a real estate broker for how long?
Wow, I've been a broker since 2000, so 12 years.
So you have seen a lot of funky real estate deals.
That's right. I even sold a lot that wasn't the lot I sold back when I first started. So I know how important it is to have somebody there in your court that can help you get through it.
It's really, this will be our last question with Carol. It's so important to find out what kind of experience the brokerage firm has. And so, Pat Jensen, I want to thank you for being on the show today. It's going to be a great holiday season. We'll see you all next week for another edition of